Yo, what is up, you beautiful bastards? It's Philip Marigu here, and welcome back to a brand new video. Today, we're diving deep into some seriously mind-blowing stuff. We're talking about weeks 5 through 8 of pregnancy, a period where a tiny speck of cells transforms into a recognizable mini-human. A beating heart, little fingers, even the beginnings of a face, all happening in just 4 short weeks. Before I started researching for this video, I had no clue how wild this stage of development actually is. So buckle up, because we're about to take a wild ride through some serious science. Get ready to have your minds blown wide open as we uncover the shocking truth about what's really going on in those first few weeks after conception. Alright guys, strap in because this first one is a doozy. By week 5, this little cluster of cells, barely bigger than a grain of rice, already has a heart that's up and running. It's beating at like 100 to 150 beats per minute. That's twice as fast as yours or mine. It's insane. This tiny heart isn't even fully formed yet. It starts as just this little tube, and then it folds and twists to become the 4-chambered heart we all know and love. That tiny heart, beating away like a drum solo, is already pumping blood throughout the embryo's developing body. This little engine is the life force, supplying oxygen and nutrients to every single cell. We're talking about a vital organ, fully functional and working overtime, all within just a few short weeks of conception. Next time you see a pregnant woman, remember that tiny heart beating away inside, a testament to the sheer power and wonder of nature. Okay, so we've got this little heart going a mile a minute, but now things are about to get even more wild. By week 6, the embryo's brain is developing at an absolutely insane rate. 100,000 new neurons every single minute. That's like building an entire city in a day, guys. These aren't just dummy cells, they're already firing off electrical signals, laying the groundwork for everything this little human will do in the future. Thinking, feeling, moving. Week 6, the brain is going bonkers, setting the stage for the incredible human being this little embryo is going to become. Alright, so we've got a beating heart, a rapidly developing brain, and now, by week 6, we start to see the very beginnings of a face, actual eye spots, these dark patches that will eventually become the eyes that will one day see the world. The ears and nose also start to form around this time as little ridges on the face, the very features that give us our individuality, that allow us to experience the world around us, are already starting to take shape. It's both beautiful and mind-blowing to think about, and it just goes to show you how much is happening in these early stages of development that we're often completely unaware of. By week 7, things get even crazier, because this is when those tiny hands and feet start to develop. At first, they don't look like the hands and feet we're used to. They look more like little paddles. Through apoptosis, the webbing between those little paddle fingers and toes starts to disappear. It's like nature is refining its creation, chiseling away the unnecessary bits to reveal the perfect human form underneath. What starts as little paddles eventually transform into the hands that will one day grasp objects, write symphonies, and the feet that will walk, run, and dance. Now, Up until week 8, the embryo skeleton is basically made of this soft cartilage, kind of like what our ears are made of. But then, boom, the first bones start to harden, beginning with the collarbone and the jaw. As the bones harden and new muscles start to form, the embryo actually starts making these tiny twitchy movements. Of course, the mother can't feel it yet, but this little guy is already flexing its muscles, getting ready to take on the world. To see bones forming in the womb, it's like witnessing the very foundation of a human being being laid, brick by microscopic brick. By weeks 7 and 8, the embryo already has a developing stomach, kidneys, and liver. The liver is even starting to produce blood cells, a job that will eventually be taken over by the bone marrow, your lungs. Yeah, those things you're using to breathe right now, they actually started out as tiny little buds growing from the throat. It's all happening right now in this tiny developing human. It really makes you appreciate the incredible complexity and resilience of the human body. Now, this is where things get really interesting. At week 7, the embryo is technically genderless, but then in males, this gene called SRY suddenly flips on like a switch being flipped, and bam, the testes start to form. Even though the genetic groundwork for gender is being laid down, it's going to be a few more weeks before doctors can actually tell the difference on an ultrasound. It's amazing to think that something as fundamental as gender is determined by this one single gene. It really highlights the incredible power of genetics and the intricate dance between nature and nurture that shapes who we are. Alright guys, we've reached the grand finale, the moment you've all been waiting for. By week 8, something absolutely incredible happens. That tiny cluster of cells, that little embryo we've been talking about this whole time, it graduates. It's officially a fetus. It's grown from the size of a sesame seed to almost an inch long. That's like a 5,000% increase in size. Did you know that up until week 8, the embryo actually has a small tail? But don't worry, it slowly disappears as we take on our final human form. It's like this little evolutionary leftover, a reminder of our ancient ancestors. From a tiny speck to a recognizable mini-human, it's an absolutely incredible journey. And it just goes to show you the incredible power and mystery of life itself. Guys, I don't know about you, but my mind is officially blown. From a heart beating at twice the speed of ours, to those pedal-like hands turning into fingers, to that gender-switching gene, weeks 5 to 8 of human development are straight up wilder than any sci-fi movie I've ever seen. Did this video leave you shook? Let me know in the comments. I want to hear your thoughts. And as always, hit that like button, subscribe, and ding that notification bell so you don't miss out on more mind-blowing content like this. Stay curious, stay beautiful, you beautiful bastards.